Hi again, YouTube. Happy Monday. It is, I think. At least mine is. I hope yours is too. I mean, it could be better, but um, excuse the outside noise. I don't know if you can hear the neighbors are using some big machinery up there. So yeah, but it's still peaceful out here. It's better than all the noise of the city. Sounds like they're probably building up their driveway. That's we do a lot of that too when you have to like blaze a trail to get to your house, you know. That's what it takes sometimes. And theirs is a really long driveway. I bet it's a quarter of a mile anyway. Yeah, all of that. We plowed it before. Not when these current people lived here, but for some other neighbors, and it was really narrow, and we slid off a couple times. Had to actually shovel out and jack up the Jeep we had, so to be able to plow them out, you know. So it was a trip. It was fun. We were both pretty physically fit back in them days. I mean, we are now compared to our uh, peers, the people around us. Not all, well, some of my friends are pretty strong and healthy yet, but not so much. Many other of them are dead, so I guess it could be worse. Yeah. So, hey, in society, how important do you feel that it is to show the value of contemporary families and the importance of a mother and a father together raising those children? You know, that's still my number one thing on this planet. To see that done right would be a beauteous thing. You know, I mean, totally righteous. I'm not talking about this clown show attempts at what people say, oh, that's good enough for what it appears to be in the public eye. I'm talking about the real stuff, like a father encouraging their children to do better, which some do, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking that a lot of times I've seen kind of the mother and father role thing kind of almost change, where women, although we're more the caregiver, especially in the first year of their life, they're dependent on their mother. And if some dad thinks that, I mean, I'm not that fathers cannot take care of a newborn infant. I'm not saying that at all. But there's a certain nurturing that that baby's mom gives to that child that can't be replaced by the father. Whereas, too, the encouragement and the strength from a father and sacrificing for their children. That's what these parents are doing. The mother is sacrificing for her child. The father is sacrificing his time, and unless he's one of them that would just walk out and not worry about if he even gave his last bite of food to his little offsprings. You know, I'm not talking about people like that. I'm talking about people that would give their last breath for their child, you know. So, and it's hard for me to show my sons that part of myself because they aren't receptive to it. They're not that type of person, you know. It's, you know, if you know what a narcissist is, I've been around a lot of them, and my kids are no exception. So, I never taught my children martial arts, but their dad did when they were teenagers. And they came back and tried to take me out with their taekwondo. And I'm a judo master. And I had to show them what being a master meant. And I never thought I'd have to combat my own adult sons, you know. But I, that was the plan. My granddaughter asked me, why would I teach my kids that? I said I never did. They weren't allowed to fight in our home. There was no sparring. There was nothing like that here. I did that when I was 15, and battles in my life that had nothing to do with my children, knew nothing of that unless I did like a crane or something, and in front of them, or I used to teach them balancing exercises more on the yoga side of things that they could barely even keep up with, you know. So, anyway, just thinking about that today, and if they had had encouragement to be strong in marriages and in making babies, like they're perfectly capable of making babies, but not capable of taking care of them. Yeah. So, my children and I couldn't be farther from each other in life from what I expect out of my fellow human beings. So, yeah, there. Yeah, it could change. It'd be a miracle. But yeah. So, what do you think? How important is the the virtues of a traditional family in our society in forming little people? The strength and the nurturing and the parental sacrifices, not the ones just going to work and taking care of them and feeding them, but the actual time invested trying to teach them what what being a good human being means, what it means to take responsibility on this planet for other souls, if that even enters anybody's mind, you know, makes me wonder, hey, what are all these 8 billion people? What are you thinking? I don't know. Cheers. Hope it's good thoughts. Hope when God catches up to you, you're thinking good thoughts. Oh, that's right. He doesn't have to catch up. He's inside of us. How freaky is that? Isn't that freaky? Come on, be honest. That is. I mean, everybody's an individual soul. That's why we feel a little freaked out with these entities that can actually communicate in our blood and in our pineal gland. It's like, and in our hearts. It's like, that's a little bit unfair, don't you think? Don't you think, hey God, don't you think you have sort of a unfair advantage, or is being related to me an unfair advantage to you? There's a good question. Anybody, do you ask God questions? It's a good thing. Ask Him. You don't know unless you ask, right? Or if you know, don't ask a stupid question. Like, when you gonna help me? And He'll say, oh, yeah, He helps those who helps themselves. Yeah, kinda. In other words, He's not gonna help us. No, I'm just kidding. He does every day. That was a joke. Was a joke. So. I'm using my other phone that takes forever to upload, but that's okay because it doesn't usually. I've had it. Oh no, I was going to say it doesn't shut off when it's uploading. But last time I used it, I think we had bad weather and it was uploading and it shut off after took 5 hours to upload. It got about 75% and it knocked it back down to like 12% or something. It was like, okay, that's weird. And I couldn't find any place to recover it. Sometimes you can. Sometimes there'll be like another page, like you can go back into where you were exactly, or even shut off the phone and restart it, which I didn't do that. But sometimes that'll pick it up, but I don't know. Anyway, we live in one of the only. See, this is what gets me too about they say they made a landline phone call to the moon, even with a ham radio. I grew up with a ham radio, and then I went on to work with places that we use CBs, and even with that local wave technology, the LAN, there's no way we would have been talking to somebody on the moon. For God's sake, I can't even get a cell phone to work in this little valley that I live in. It's one of the only places on the whole planet that I can barely get cell phone service. We got to have our dish right in the weirdest place to even pick up a signal. And without our own dish, I can't just go and get a phone and expect it's going to work. It doesn't work like that out here. So I can't get a phone to work, but yet they were talking to somebody how far away? Uh, do you ever notice there's a lot of songs that talk about 8 miles high? There's a bird song called 8 Miles High, and and then like Eminem's 8 Mile. I mean, these things makes me wonder, is stuff only 8 miles high? Wouldn't that be wild? I always felt like it was connected, and there's like gates and doors that line up like stargates. I really do feel that. I feel that way. That we aren't just like, it's not time travel because time being linear, you know, it's just who we are all the time, no matter what. I feel like that. So, of course, the past and the future and the present are all connected. How could it be any other way? But at what stage are we? you know, I think none of us have actually been born yet. I think the human being is too young to actually be born again. I think this is more like Christ and God's dream or nightmare, and we're a part of it. We're going to be born, but we're learning with their mindset. Otherwise, you'll be one of them spermies that doesn't quite make it to the egg. That's that's what I really think. I think we are just not even a gleam in the old man's eye yet. We're like just barely thought of, but yet thought ahead for. It's like he goes ahead to build our home. That's what that is to me, preparing for me for a future with him when it's like when my child got old enough to carry on a normal, not a normal, wrong words, a semi-adult conversation with me. Yeah, that conversation thing is something on the level, in the depths, with the scale, the magnitude of the different levels of everything that I care about and I am involved in. I really crave that level of sensitivity and conversation with people that I don't really have around me. Maybe in small snippets here and there, but nothing on a big scale, you know. And Lionel Nation had a good one this morning. He was talking about, I think it was Senator Bobby Kennedy had been talking about what it would actually take to be a great leader in this world, that he or she would have to have, I mean, something, a mind that's so, and Lionel didn't put it this way, but I'm paraphrasing, like to encompass all the situations with the understanding of it. It's like, okay, people can say, I know about cars. Okay, that's nice. But if something goes wrong on your car, can you personally do anything about it? There's the difference. Like if we have a president, they can say, well, I know about this. That's beautiful. You know about the banking system, and you know the pitfalls of it or whatever. So, what are your ideas with your great knowledge, large man, that you're going to implement to help the people in your country, you know, or Vice President, Madam Idiot? What do you actually know that you can implement and prove to me that you have a mindset and the knowledge all encompassing what's going on in the world, that you can actually make a difference and pass some bills or stand by said bills that are already in our constitution that these people are not doing, you know. Yeah, I'd like to see the whole government refurbished, the whole thing. I would like to see Washington, D.C. burn down completely, bulldozed, fucking leveled. That's how I feel about it. So, and that's not anti American. I'm so pro American and so pro people. That's what gives me that burning desire. Burning desire. Oh, wasn't a Freudian slip. That was a perfect choice. mm, I got a joke. What's a Freudian slip? When his mother accidentally bent over in front of him. If you know anything about Sigmund Freud, then you got that joke. He said that a lot of men have mother issues, and that's why they pick the women they pick. Basically, once again, I'm paraphrasing, that they have like a lust for their mothers, and it's embedded in men. And I don't know, maybe some men, and that's just thoroughly disgusting. But so much for Sigmund Freud. I was reading that when I was in fourth grade the first time. Started reading psychology books, and I'm like, okay, this dude's, and I did put it down. I'm like, this is really weird. You know, I just wasn't ready for all that. Not even close. So, yeah. So, anyway, to me, that's what a Freudian slip is. Or maybe it's when his mother wore her slip in front of him, and that's how come his brain had a Freudian slip. That might be the reason he thought that way. Yeah, Who knows, right? But you always have to beware of these people that say that they're of sound mind and they're dealing with the neuroses of other people, but who are they patterning themselves after before they write their books and deem themselves experts along with their people in their societies? And yeah, what a bunch of weirdos. That's not the only psychology I've read. I mean, I had to take 101 in nursing school, and I think all government officials should be psycho psychoanalyzed. I was going to say psychologically analyzed. Yeah, absolutely they should be. Why not? And all cops and all public officials should have a psychology course on the makings of the human mind, especially like cops and first responders and those type of people dealing with the drug issues out on our planet and the different um, domestic disturbances and all that type of stuff. Whoa. These people, yeah, now cops are being trained more with more of that. And they can't be too empathetic or sympathetic because that could get them killed. But they are devoid of a lot of that, you know. So I still think it's important for me to stress the importance of the nuclear family and traditionally man and woman being married under God and forming that family for God as caretakers of those children, and the importance of the male role and the female role, and those patriarch and matriarch parents of that child being able to display their separate personalities for their child, the most important things going on in the world, the structure of that little human mind and heart when they're tiny, you know. Oh, it's so important. That's the most important thing in the world. You right in your home when they're tiny. Nothing could be more golden if it were to be done right. If you have a two-party system, you know, with the parents. It isn't going to work with people trying to pretend that they're the opposite gender or to get in touch with my male side. For Christ's sake, I don't have a male side. I have testosterone that was put in me in this flesh. That's not me. And my spirit's always been feminine, female, you know? I'm so sick of this shit in this world like that. How is it ever going to help people forming families if true what's true doesn't speak louder for those little people? That's the truth of it all. That's the bottom line. It's about the children. It's not about anybody else. It's not about these freakazoids that want to play pretend. Hey, I'd play patty cake with you too if I didn't have babies on this planet. But I do, and I have that responsibility to tell them the confusion that you're seeing is not reality and it does nobody any good. except for the clowns that are parading around for Satan. And it's not their earth, and it's not their rainbow, and it's not their show. And yeah, God will prevail. I know I'm saying the right thing, and I'm not going to stop saying it. So I love you all, and that is why I'm saying it. To me, a lot of you are like, if not the age of my children. Well, I've looked at the elderly on their last days and saw them as a child. So don't take any offense. I love y'all. You know, just some people I love more than others. If I don't like them, hey, they could be like, I could even call them a buddy. Hey, bud, or buddy. I know I just got through, like, I was kind of pissed. Well, I was pissed off at William Witness. But at the end of his live stream, I said, thanks, buddy. Do I love him as a human being? Is he a friend of mine? Fuck no. He's an Illuminati baby that wants to dole out information for money. Now, if he really had God in his heart, he'd probably make money just from being, um, see, he's too interconnected to make money on God's side of the team. He's got to do it the way they want him to do it, or he won't be doing it in a big way. And that's the bottom line. So yeah, he's just a buddy. Do I love him? Not as a friend, not even close. So there's the, and yeah, I had to lighten the blow because I do know he has God in his heart, and I was verbally cutting his throat in the sweetest way I could find because he was talking about parasites and mind control. And I mean, when you don't have people joining in your conversation and they actually know more than you do about the subject, that would be me, knowing more than he does about the subject and not even being addressed to discuss it, but yet he's known me for about 12 years. Yeah, it pissed me off. So, yeah, like I said, I don't love him as a friend because I can't trust him like that, you know. And it's not the first time he pissed me off. A long time ago, I made a video called Global Idiot. And very long time ago, I was on, I can't remember what the name of the website was that he was on. And I confronted him with his doling out his bullshit back then, too. So, just who I am, it's what I do, you know. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. I'm going to get this uploaded and see what the rest of my day brings. Thanks for joining me. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.